The message came through broken and unclear, but everyone could tell it was urgent. Mayday. Colony Epsilon 9. Under attack. Unknown hostiles. Civilians targeted. Please. Then nothing but silence. Admiral Jiwoo Park stood still on the bridge of Earth's biggest ship, the UES Dauntless. Her face showed anger as the call ended. Epsilon 9 was one of the farthest human colonies, a tough mining outpost on a planet other aliens called a death world. Is it real? She asked. Her officer nodded. Yes, Admiral. It's from Epsilon 9. The message came 36 hours ago. Park frowned. Humans had only just joined the Galactic Concord. Many alien species looked down on humans, seeing them as strange and violent creatures from a harsh planet. Get the fleet ready, she ordered. Battle stations. We leave in 20 minutes. But Admiral, the Concord Council hasn't given permission. Her second-in-command started to say, I don't need permission to save our people, Park cut him off. Set the fastest route to Epsilon 9. As the crew rushed to prepare, Park looked at the star map. Epsilon 9 was marked in red, an emergency signal flashing. The colony had been established 5 years ago, with only the toughest volunteers willing to face the high gravity and dangerous wildlife. Now they were under attack and no one else was coming to help. Status report, Park demanded. 27 ships ready to jump, replied Captain Dong-Yun Kang, her tactical officer. More joining every hour. Park nodded. It wasn't enough against an unknown enemy, but they couldn't wait. The colonists chose a hard life to build something new. We won't let them face this alone. News of the attack spread across human space like wildfire. On Mars base, Colonel Jisoo Yang ordered all off-duty soldiers to report immediately. In the asteroid belt, mining ships stopped their work and began loading weapons. Even on Earth, retired military veterans volunteered for service. How many ships does the enemy have? Park asked as the Dauntless prepared to jump. Unknown, Kang replied. But the colony had 3 defense platforms and an early warning system. For them to be overwhelmed so quickly, Park understood the unspoken concern. Whatever attacked Epsilon 9 was powerful. Maybe too powerful for her fleet. Send a message to all colonies, Park ordered. Any ships that can fight should meet us at these coordinates. This isn't just about Epsilon 9. This is about showing the galaxy that humans protect their own. As the message went out, responses flooded in from across human space. Mining ships with makeshift weapons, civilian transports volunteering as medical vessels, military ships changing course to join the response fleet. Lieutenant Minji Yoon, a young communications officer, looked up from her station with wide eyes. Admiral, I've never seen anything like this. Everyone is coming. Park allowed herself a small smile. That's what the aliens don't understand about us. They see Earth as a death world that should have killed us. They don't realize it taught us to stand together. The ship's AI announced the 1-minute warning before jump. Park took her command seat and looked at the determination on her crew's faces. Most had never seen combat, but they all understood what was at stake. The aliens think they chose an easy target, Park said to her bridge crew. They don't know that humans from death worlds don't go down easily, and they certainly don't know what happens when you make us angry. The stars outside the viewport stretched into lines as the Dauntless jumped into hyperspace. Behind it followed the first wave of Earth's response fleet, 26 warships carrying the fury of humanity. In the quiet of hyperspace, Park studied the limited data they had on Epsilon 9's attackers. A few grainy images, some signal patterns, nothing conclusive, but she had fought pirates and raiders before. These attackers were different, organized, purposeful. This wasn't random, she told Captain Kang. They specifically targeted our most isolated colony. Kang nodded grimly. A test, perhaps, to see how we respond? Then let's make sure they get their answer, Park replied. Prepare all weapons. When we exit hyperspace, we hit them hard and fast. As the Dauntless raced through hyperspace, more ships jumped in behind it. The response fleet grew by the hour. Humans across the stars, united by a single message. Help was coming to Epsilon 9. And with it, humanity's fury. Word spread quickly across human space. Within hours, military ships were leaving their posts around Mars, Luna, and the Jupiter moons. Civilian ships joined them too, mining vessels with added weapons, transport ships, and even rich people's private spacecraft. On the colony world of New Terra, Commander Taehyun Kim watched screens showing hundreds of ships joining together. The aliens had made a big mistake. They attacked what they thought was humanity's weakest outpost, not understanding that humans saw their frontier colonists as their strongest, most resilient people. "They think we're just strong animals because we come from a death world," said Kim's science officer, Dr. Yoonha Lee. She looked at the growing fleet numbers with pride. "They don't understand that Earth didn't just make us physically tough, it taught us to protect our own." Kim nodded. The aliens classified Earth as a Class 9 death world: high gravity, dangerous air, extreme weather, deadly animals. But they missed our most important strength. "What's that?" asked a young officer nearby. "We never leave our people behind," Kim replied, watching another group of volunteer ships join the formation. "And we never forget our enemies." In his office, Kim studied the data about Epsilon 9. The colony had been established only 5 years ago on a planet with higher gravity than Earth and dangerous local wildlife. Only the toughest volunteers had gone there to mine valuable minerals that the Galactic Concord prized highly. His communications officer, Lieutenant Hyosun Bae, rushed in. "Sir, you need to see this. We're getting responses from everywhere." The main screen showed ships converging from all human settlements. Not just military vessels, but fishing boats with welded armor, medical ships offering aid, and even old cargo haulers barely able to fly. "How many?" Kim asked, staring at the screen. "Over 3,000 now, sir," Bae replied. "And more coming. I've never seen anything like it." Kim hadn't either. The human fleet was supposed to be small compared to other alien forces. That's what the Concord records showed. But those records hadn't accounted for civilian ships or the human tendency to improvise. "The aliens think we're divided," Kim said. "They don't understand human unity when threatened." On the mining colony of Titan, Director Junho Baek watched. His workers transform mining equipment into weapons. Drills designed to cut through moon rock were being mounted on ships. Haulers were being fitted with makeshift armor. "Will these even work against alien ships?" asked his assistant. Beck shrugged. "Maybe not. But we're going anyway." Similar scenes played out across human space. On Mars, General Sunwoo Choi ordered all non-essential military projects halted. "Everything goes to the response fleet," he commanded. "We show the galaxy that humans stand together." Back on New Terra, Kim received new orders. His ship, the UES Thunderbolt, would lead the second wave of the response fleet. Engineers worked around the clock, pushing the engines beyond safety, limits to reach Epsilon 9 faster. "Sir," said his tactical officer, "if we push the engines this hard, we risk burning them out before we even reach the battle. Then we'll drift in on momentum," Kim replied. "But we will get there." In space near Saturn, retired Admiral Min-hee Ryu watched the gathering fleet from her small observatory. Though she had left military service years ago, her communication channels still worked. She listened as captains, both military and civilian, coordinated their response. "They attacked the wrong species," she said to herself, seeing the determination in action. The Galactic Concord representatives on Earth were shocked by the human response. Ambassador Taijo Kwan found himself explaining to confused alien diplomats why humans were reacting so strongly. "You must understand," he told them, "that to attack one human colony is to attack all humans. Your people may see differences between Earth humans, Mars humans, and colony humans. We just see humans." As the massive fleet prepared to jump to Epsilon 9, Admiral Park's initial force was already nearing the colony. Emergency channels buzzed with activity as captains prepared their crews for what might be waiting. "We've never faced this kind of threat before," Kim told his crew during final preparations. "But the aliens have never faced humans before either. They think because we come from a harsh world we're just strong animals. They're about to learn that Earth taught us something far more dangerous." The Marak ships surrounded Epsilon 9, their smooth, living-looking vessels glowing with strange energy. Their leader, Supreme Hunter Thal, watched with pride as the human settlement burned. These strange creatures from their harsh planet had been expanding too quickly, taking resource-rich worlds that Thal believed belonged to more advanced species like his own. "The message has been sent," said his second-in-command. "The other human colonies will learn that expansion has consequences." Thal's jaw parts clicked together in approval. "Finish the ground attack. Leave no— Commander, many space breaks." "Detected!" shouted his sensor officer, voice rising in fear. "Hundreds, no, thousands of ships coming!" The space around Epsilon 9 broke open as the human fleet arrived, not in neat, ordered groups as military rules would suggest, but all at once in a wild, overwhelming wave. Military ships, civilian vessels, mining platforms with added weapons, and an angry swarm of different craft united by one purpose. Thal stared in disbelief. Impossible. The Concord report said humans don't have enough ships for big fleet actions. They're a small species. His tactical officer spoke with a shaking voice. "Sir, they're not following any known attack patterns. They're just coming. All of them." On the bridge of the UES Dauntless, Admiral Park saw the alien fleet for the first time. The Marak ships were bigger than human vessels, with more advanced weapons, but they stayed in tight formations, following textbook space combat rules. "All ships, this is Admiral Park," she broadcast to the human fleet. "Attack pattern Zeta. Civilian ships stay back until military vessels make the first push." But the human captains had other ideas. Mining ships designed to break asteroids charged straight at Marak cruisers. Passenger ships flew low over the colony, dropping supplies to survivors. Military vessels performed moves that the Marak battle computers labeled as certain death until they worked. "They're not following orders," Park's XO said with surprise. Park smiled slightly. "No. They're doing what humans do best, adapting." Aboard the Marak command ship, Thal watched in growing horror as his neat formations broke apart under the chaotic human attack. His species had fought in space for 5 centuries, developing careful battle plans and formations. The humans ignored all of them. "Sir, the mining vessels are ramming our ships," a Marak officer reported in disbelief. "Impossible. No intelligent species sacrifices ships in such a way," Thal replied. But the human mining ships weren't sacrificing themselves. Their hulls, designed to withstand asteroid impacts, could take hits that would destroy military vessels. They pushed into the Marak formations, breaking them apart so the human military ships could target the separated alien vessels. In the colony below, the surviving humans fought back against Marak ground forces. The aliens had expected easy victory against weak civilians, not finding tough colonists who had survived years on a high-gravity planet with predators that could tear through metal. Captain Minjae Choi led a team of Marines dropping from orbit. Their pods hit the ground hard, and they emerged firing at the surprised Marak soldiers. "Push them back from the main habitat," Choi ordered. "Protect the survivors." The Marak ground commander couldn't understand what was happening. His forces were better armed and armored than the humans. But the colonists fought with unexpected skill and determination, using their knowledge of the harsh environment against the invaders. Back in space, the battle grew more chaotic. Human ships communicated with each other using constantly changing codes that the Marak couldn't break. Civilian vessels performed roles they weren't built for. Cargo ships became troop carriers. Science vessels jammed MROC communications. "Sir, the human attack has no pattern we can predict," reported the Marak tactical officer. "Our battle computers cannot keep up with their changes." Thal slammed his claw down on his command console. "They're primitives from a death world. How are they coordinating such an attack?" The answer was simple, though Thal couldn't see it. The humans weren't following any single plan. Each captain made decisions based on what they saw, adapting moment by moment. It was chaotic, unpredictable, and terrifyingly effective. "Admiral." Park watched as the Marak fleet began to break apart under the human assault. "They're retreating from the colony's orbit," her tactical officer reported. "Should we pursue?" Park nodded firmly. "Tell all ships to keep pressing. We don't just want them to retreat. We want them to remember why they should never attack humans again." As the Marak ships began to flee, the human fleet pursued them relentlessly. The message that would soon spread across the galaxy was clear. The Deathworlders had arrived, and they protected their own. Admiral Park had expected the aliens to fight back, but she hadn't expected so many enemy ships. The Mroc vessels were better than human ships with stronger weapons, but they fought using old rules and patterns. Humans did not. Mining ships charged straight at Mroc cruisers. Their strong hulls, built to survive asteroid crashes, took hits that would destroy military ships. Civilian vessels flew down to the planet to save survivors. Military ships made moves that the Mroc computers called suicidal until they worked. "They're breaking their neat lines," reported Park's tactical officer as the Mroc fleet started to fall apart under the wild human attack. Park nodded. "Push. Harder. Tell all captains to keep being unpredictable." The Dauntless shook as it took another hit. "Their weapons are still stronger than ours," her second-in-command warned. "But they don't fight like we do," Park replied. "And they attacked our people first. That was their big mistake." On the colony surface, Captain Min-jae Choi led Marine teams fighting house to house against Mroc ground forces. The aliens had expected an easy win against soft civilians. Instead, they found tough colonists who had lived for years on a planet with higher gravity and animals that could tear through metal. "Push to the main building," Choi shouted to her team. "There are survivors trapped inside." The Mroc soldiers were tall with 4 arms and natural armor. They carried energy weapons that could burn through human combat suits. But they moved slowly in the colony's high gravity, while the humans had adapted to it. "They're falling back," called Sergeant Jihu Kang, as his team secured another block of the colony. "They didn't expect us to fight so hard." In orbit above, the space battle had turned into chaos that favored the humans. The Mroc fleet tried to maintain proper battle formations, while human ships attacked from all directions, using moves no proper military would try. Commander Tae-hyun Kim's ship, the Thunderbolt, had arrived with the second wave of the human fleet. Kim watched as civilian mining ships used their powerful drills, designed to cut through asteroids to tear into the hulls of Mroc warships. "No one ever taught them these weren't weapons," Kim said with grim satisfaction. "Because no one expected humans to use mining equipment in battle." Admiral Park coordinated the assault from the Dauntless, but she wasn't giving strict orders. Instead, she let each captain use their strengths. Fishing ships with strong nets captured Mroc scout vessels. Medical ships rescued ejected pilots from both sides, though the Mroc were surprised to find themselves saved by their enemies. "Sir, the alien flagship is trying to retreat," reported Kim's sensor officer. "Should we let them go?" "No," Kim replied. "Admiral Park wants their leader captured. The galaxy needs to understand what happens when you attack humans." 3 human military vessels surrounded the Mroc command ship, taking heavy damage but refusing to back down. Their weapons targeted the alien ship's engines, leaving it unable to escape. Back on the planet, Choi's Marines had reached the colony's main building. Inside, they found dozens of survivors who had barricaded themselves when the attack began. "The fleet is here," Choi told the colony leader, an older woman named Hana Gong. "We're taking back the colony." Gong looked surprised. "The whole fleet came? For us?" "Every ship that could fly," Choi confirmed. When the distress call reached Earth, everyone responded. No one even questioned it. Tears filled Gong's eyes. "The Mroc commander told us we were abandoned, that Earth wouldn't risk war for a small colony." "He didn't understand humans very well," Choi replied. In space, the battle was ending. Most Mroc ships had been destroyed or captured. Their formations, so perfect at the start, had completely fallen apart against the unpredictable human attacks. On the Dauntless's bridge, Admiral Park received the report she had been waiting for. "Mroc flagship disabled, Admiral. Their commander is being brought aboard." Minutes later, Supreme Hunter Thal was escorted onto the bridge. The alien looked shocked, his mandibles twitching in what Park recognized as fear. "You attacked a human colony," Park said simply. "Did you expect us to ignore that?" "The conquered data said humans were divided," Thal replied. "That colony worlds operated independently." Park allowed herself a small smile. "Then your data was wrong. Humans stand together. As the last Maroc ships were captured or destroyed, Park sent a message to all human vessels. Epsilon 9 is secure. The enemy is defeated. Well done, everyone. Across thousands of ships, humans cheered. They had faced their first alien threat, and one not through superior technology, but through what Earth had taught them best: how to adapt, improvise, and never abandon their own. 3 days later, Supreme Hunter Thal stood before the Galactic Concord Council. His proud stance was gone, his fancy armor damaged and broken. The humans, he reported, voice empty, took back their colony. Our fleet, only 17 ships escaped. They chased us to the edge of Maroc space but stopped there. The council, room filled with shocked whispers. A Threll representative, his crystal body shining under the room lights, leaned forward. Impossible. The humans are newcomers with limited space ability. Their home planet is a harsh place that should have made only simple, violent creatures. That, came a voice from the room entrance, was your big mistake. Admiral Park walked slowly down the middle path, still wearing her battle-marked uniform. Behind her came people from various human colonies, including several bandaged survivors from Epsilon 9. You called Earth a death world, Park continued, and thought that made us primitive. You never thought that surviving such a world needs more than physical strength. It needs teamwork, creativity, and fierce loyalty to our own people. She stopped in front of the council platform. The Maroc attacked what they thought was our weakest settlement, but there are no weak human settlements, only those who have already proven themselves by surviving where others cannot. Park's eyes moved across the room. We joined the Concord in peace, but make no mistake, we will defend our people. Today the Maroc learned that lesson. The rest of you should remember it. As Park and her group left, the council room stayed silent. The message had been delivered not just to the Maroc, but to all who might underestimate the Deathworlders of Earth. Later that day, in a private meeting room, Park met with the human diplomatic team. Ambassador Junhee Ryu looked concerned. The council is scared of us now, Ryu said. Some are already talking about restrictions on human expansion. Park shrugged. Let them talk. They now know what happens if they move beyond talk. A junior diplomat spoke up. But we need good relations with the conquered for trade. This incident has set us back years. No, said Hana Gong, the Epsilon 9 colony leader who had survived the attack. It has moved us forward. Before they saw us as curiosities. Now they see us as equals. Gong's face still showed signs of the battle. Her left arm was in a cast, and burn marks covered her neck. But she stood tall as she addressed the room. I watched my friends die when the Maroc attacked, she said. They thought we would be easy targets because we're just Deathworlders. They didn't understand that. Living on Earth prepared us for everything, including fighting back. On the Dauntless, now orbiting Earth again, Commander Taehyun Kim reviewed data from the battle. The Maroc had lost over 200 ships. Humans had lost 83, most of them civilian vessels that had volunteered despite having no battle. Training. We shouldn't have won, Kim told Captain Min-jae Choi, who had returned from the ground battle. Their technology was better, their weapons stronger, their ships faster. But we had something they didn't understand, Choi replied. We had Earth. Earth? Kim asked. Yes, Choi nodded. Living on a death world didn't just make us physically strong. It taught us to work together against bigger threats, to adapt when plans fail, to keep fighting when victory seems impossible. Back in the Concord Council chamber, the representatives of 50 alien species debated what to do about the humans. Some wanted restrictions, others suggested careful observation. A few even proposed friendship. They came from a Class 9 death world, the Threll representative reminded everyone. No, other spacefaring species evolved in such conditions. We have no way to predict what they might do next. The Maroc representative, newly appointed after Thal's failure, spoke carefully. We suggest respecting their territory. Our analysis shows they only attacked because we struck first. They even stopped at our border when they could have continued. On Diu, Earth children watched videos of the battle for Epsilon 9 in their classrooms. Teachers explained how humans from all colonies had joined together to save one small outpost. "Why did everyone help?" asked one small boy. "Epsilon 9 is so far away." His teacher smiled. "Because that's what humans do. We protect our own. The galaxy thinks Earth made us strong because it's dangerous. But Earth's real lesson was that we survive by standing together." As humanity returned to normal life, the message spread across the stars. The Deathworlders had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had shown the fury they were capable of when provoked. But they had also shown mercy when victory was achieved. And that, perhaps, was the most surprising lesson of all. "What's that?" "Sir?" asked a young crew member. Kim's face hardened. "When someone threatens our family, we don't just fight back. We make sure they never threaten us again." As the Thunderbolt prepared to jump, Kim looked at the fleet status one last time. Thousands of ships, most never designed for battle, were following them into danger. The aliens had wanted to send humanity a message. Now humanity was sending one back.